And now, WMPN's Sheila Farley Rodriguez-COCHINSKI with the Mud Puppets presidential debate.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final presidential debate of 2012. We'd like to thank the Pikeville, Kentucky School of Air Condition Repair for hosting this prestigious event. And now, please welcome the two men vying for the White House, Mud Puppet Ryan and Mud Puppet Joel.
You're going down, big boy.
Oh, you're gonna be begging for mercy, you son of a bitch.
Rotten hell.
Gentlemen, may I remind you that your microphones are live and we can hear what you are saying? Gentlemen, we begin this discussion with a hot button issue that's been talked about in this country for a few months now. If elected to office, how would you handle the threat of the Chicken Man? Mud Puppet Joel, you won the pre-show coin toss, so you may go first.
Well, Sheila, as I've said countless times out on the campaign trail, I support a full-blown military invasion of Mud Puppet Studios to find and destroy the Chicken Man. Now, I know my friend opposes such action, but that's because he hasn't borne the brunt of the Chicken Man's assaults. Look, I've been there, down in the trenches. I know what it's like. I know what the Chicken Man is capable of. Let me tell you a story. One of our employees at Mud Puppet Studios, Joe Fake Name, he works there as a camera operator, he recently went on lunch and he discovered that 2 slices of his pepperoni pizza he brought from home were missing. Now initially, he suspected Mud Puppet Ryan of taking the food, as we all do whenever food goes missing. However, Joe soon found several large yellow feathers on the floor next to the refrigerator. His lunch had been stolen by the Chicken Man. And while my pal over here may think that's a laughing matter, it breaks my heart. Joe, I vow to you, if you elect me your president, your lunch will never be thefted or sullied again.
Mud Puppet Ryan, your response.
Well, Sheila, I'll make it short and sweet. What my opponent isn't telling you is that his plan would cost every man, woman, and child in this country an extra $14,000 a year in taxes.
That's not true.
In addition to that, such a military action would drastically weaken our national defense.
That isn't true, Mud Puppet Ryan.
My plan is not to have the military involved at all. Instead, we'll set up a series of Home Alone-style traps to catch and injure the Chicken Man. We'll have a paint bucket on a string. We'll have some Hot Wheels set up under a windowsill. Perhaps we'll even have a doorknob that's heated to a super, super hot temperature by a flamethrower. I think that's the most effective way to capture the Chicken Man.
That's not true.
My opponent would tell you that I was lying if I said that the sky was blue, Sheila.
You're a liar, Mud Puppet Ryan.
The sky is blue.
I believe that to be a falsehood.
Gentlemen, some of your followers have started a movement to have Porthole Pete added to the ballot. What are your thoughts on a third-party candidate?
Sheila, I want to be perfectly clear on this issue. The American people deserve to know the truth about Porthole Pete. Look, I'm a fan as well. That's why we put him in the show. I understand why all the Mud Puppeteers love his antics, but people, look, he's a pirate. He pillages. He's a seafarer. He is riddled with rickets, scurvy, and nautical aids. And despite what Porthole Pete will tell you, his body does not just have ways of shutting that whole thing down. If elected, Porthole Pete will unleash a cocktail of 17th century diseases on America that the CDC is wholly unprepared to deal with.
On this one, I actually agree with my opponent. We know Porthole Pete is an angry pirate, and he's bound to have a bunch of curmudgeonly sailors swashbuckling through the White House. And nobody, and I mean nobody, wants a bunch of crusty seamen on their hands.
All right, gentlemen, let's move on to our next question. The Middle East has been an important issue. There is concern about Iran getting nuclear capabilities, and people are concerned about how to handle this. Some suggest military action, others suggest sanctions are the best path to peace. If elected to office, how would you handle this? Mud Puppet Joel, you won the pre-show rock, paper, and scissors tournament, so you may answer first.
Look, I'm going to be totally honest here. I didn't listen to any of that.
I did listen. I did not understand it.
Very well then. One of your fans submitted a question, and I am paraphrasing here to avoid the rampant profanity that your fans like to use. BMO asks, what would happen to the Mud Puppets if one of you were elected to office? Joel, you won the pre-show punt, pass, and kick contest, so you may answer first.
Well, BMO, the first thing I would like to say is I appreciate that question. And if I'm elected your president, I wouldn't just abandon the Mud Puppeteers like my chum here would. No. Look, now I may not have the same amount of time to write and edit sketches like I do now when I'm president, but think of it this way. When I'm pulling in those sweet 400 G's as your commander-in-chief, I can pay other people to do those things. And as far as performing goes, I imagine they can use existing footage to render in a digital copy of myself as handsome as the real thing that will entertain and delight for years to come.
Ryan, your response.
Well, BMO, I appreciate that question, and my opponent wants to throw money at the problem, just like every other problem this country's facing. Me, I'm going to take a different approach. The first day I'm in office, I'm going to tell my supervisor, hey, I'll do president stuff Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday, that's mud puppet time. I'll be mud puppeting it up big time.
What my comrade over here isn't telling you.
Did you hear that? He said comrade. He's a commie. He is a damned commie.
Gentlemen, please. We move now to the lightning round. I'll ask a series of questions, and you'll give short answers with no elaboration. Mud Puppet Ryan, you won the pre-show pie eating contest, so you get to go first. Name your Secretary of Agriculture.
Oh, agriculture. The farmer in the dell?
Mud Puppet Joel.
Secretary of Agriculture? That's easy. Twinkie the Kid. He's always tickled my fancy.
Name your Secretary of Energy.
I would choose the remaining members of AC/DC.
My Secretary of Energy, Raiden from Mortal Kombat. The man had lightning bolts in his hands!
Name your Secretary of Defense.
I'd choose Godzilla.
My Secretary of Defense? Easy. Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII. What you got now, Ahmadinejad?
I feel compelled, as a professional journalist, to tell the electorate that those were all fictional characters. Finally, gentlemen, do your best impression of a United States president.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Wow, that was a pretty good Kennedy.
No, that was Nixon.
Joel, your turn.
We got a saying in Texas. You probably have it here in Tennessee too. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me, can't get fooled again.
And with that, we end tonight's debate. Gentlemen, I would like to wish you the best of luck. Ladies and gentlemen, your candidates, Mud Puppet Ryan and Mud Puppet Joel.
I'll see you on election day, Slim Jim.
Yeah, good luck.
You want to dance, big boy? Let's go. Oh!
Gentlemen, please!
Oh, Menard!
Stop it! Stop it!
Go to mudpuppets.com today and vote!